All right, JP, are you ready to talk about Litecoin?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Well, we're gonna. So tonight's topic is going to be about Litecoin. So we turned off our lights for this. Welcome to Nerd Stock Talk, and we have with us JP Wildman, who is our co-host here, and I am Barney Smith of StoryComic.com, and we're here live Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. every Sunday, and go ahead and
every single one.
So make sure you click the button, follow, like us on Facebook, like us on the tweets, like us on the Instas, and we will
like us on Twitch too.
Like us on Twitch. We are, follow us on Twitch
and YouTube. Don't forget.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. Yeah, we're everywhere. Yeah, everywhere.
We're on.
And so what we want to do, we want to talk to you. We're doing our series of cryptocurrencies. Last week we talked about Bitcoin. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through, chronologically speaking, the list of cryptocurrencies. So tonight we're going to be talking about Litecoin. So, but before we jump into that, we're just going to talk about our long picks real quick. All right. So as you, a lot of you have been following, our long picks are still around. They're a little bit better than they were last week. So JP, Canoo was down 55% last week. Now it's down only 49%.
There were points, I think, where it was down touching 70, but yeah, we're looking up. Things are looking up with Canoo.
So is it just, you think it's the market's kind of righting itself, or anything specific with Canoo, or just part and parcel of the general market right now?
I think Canoo is probably, when you look at some of the other EV car companies, they have stock prices that are much higher than Canoo, even though they are much further away from actually producing a product. And I think Canoo is probably the most revolutionary. It's being heavily shorted. There's an investor group is suing Canoo for deception for changing their business plan a little bit. They're abandoning the subscription model. One of their big things was to have a subscription-based sales platform where you'd pay a fee per month, and whatever kind of car you needed, you could get. It was a little funny to figure out how that was all going to work, and I think the CEO finally realized that wasn't a viable business plan, and they could make a lot more money just selling cars outright. So they abandoned that, and then some hedge fund has launched an antitrust lawsuit against them, which has driven the stock price down. And I think you'll find, if you did some investigating, that hedge fund is probably heavily shorting Canoo, and that's what's behind the lawsuit. So that's what's going on with Canoo right now. I think it's all going to pass, and I'm buying more. So
yeah, good, okay. Yeah, and same with Tencent. I think I don't think it was part of the whole heavily shorted. I think it was just because of issues with because it's a Chinese mobile game app company, which is connected to Epic Games and Fortnite.
A lot of the Chinese stocks are really suffering right now because there is a new SEC requirement that the Chinese have to submit to auditing by the SEC, which China is saying no to for, I guess, good reason, I suppose. I could see from their point of view. I don't think American companies would want to submit to Chinese auditors any more than Chinese companies want to submit to American auditors. So every single China stock is down 20 or 30% right now. We'll see how that all plays out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with Alibaba is another one. That's it. And for those that don't know, Alibaba is it's a pretty expensive stock. I think it's over 200 right now, and that one is
Alibaba, the most valuable company in the world.
It is basically for our American viewers. They're basically, you take Amazon and Walmart and put it together into one company, and that's basically what Alibaba is. So it's basically it has a lot of stores. It also has, it's basically the Amazon of Asia, where that's where everyone will automatically go to shopping. And they also throw in, even add an Apple to it too, because they stream music, they do they do everything. Basically, Alibaba is the everything of that. So yeah, and it's around 200 or so per share right now, and it'll go up. It's kind of out of my price range right now, since I'm still waiting for Disney to do something. But we'll, like I said, we'll check in with these stocks. We'll check in these every week, up until the point where we start seeing maybe plus numbers beside those names. But we'll see
from now.
Yes. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump into we're going to talk about our cryptocurrency of the week. So before we jump into and start talking about Litecoin, what I wanted to do is ask you, of JP, you mentioned in our chat throughout the week, we got a chat that we talked to with some of our other Nerd Stock Talk contributors. I don't know if you want to call, is that that there is you mentioned something about since cryptocurrencies are not regulated, like you said something, or like, for instance, like is there a point, do you see, because people can say things like, like there was the conspiracy of like Elon Musk is not going to, the conspiracy that Elon, like saying these things. What's that?
Do you need to get that?
No, it's just a door chime to the basement. So, fine. But you think that, so it's not regulated, so nobody can get in trouble for saying bad things about cryptocurrencies right now.
Well, it's not about saying bad things, but if Elon Musk were to say something about Tesla,
yeah,
Tesla's about to go to the moon, the share prices are going up, you guys won't believe what is going to happen,
right?
And the price goes up, and then Elon Musk sells a bunch of Tesla stocks. That's market manipulation. That's illegal.
Right. Yeah.
There are no regulations currently in place against cryptocurrencies for doing that.
Right.
So you'll see Elon Musk tweeting about Dogecoin and Bitcoin and these other cryptocurrencies. And Elon Musk has actually been fined by the SEC more than once for market manipulation with Tesla stocks and some other stocks that he had been tweeting about. Right. This is kind of I want to say he was one of the first people to be fined by the SEC for market manipulation using social media. And so Elon has kind of found this niche in cryptocurrencies where he's been totally exploiting the lack of regulation there and using his social media prowess to influence the prices and cause spikes and profit off it. So hopefully we'll see some regulation and we'll see. The government's in sort of a weird spot right now because they don't want to acknowledge and regulate crypto because that's condoning it, and condoning crypto is really a threat to the global financial system and the power of the US dollar. But if they don't regulate it, then this goes on willy-nilly and it can really create some problems. So
exactly. So this is the point. There will be an eventuality where they will have to regulate like you said, so making sure there's no market manipulation. And once that happens, then it's legitimate. Like it's like
legitimate. Yeah, it's legitimatized, and that will really create some real questions for what that means for the world financial system. Because right now, the U.S. dollar is currently the world reserve currency.
right.
There'll be some real problems for the U.S. financial system if that ever changes.
Right.
And we're kind of seeing some of that now with inflation and such, as the U.S. dollar becomes less dominant in the world financial system. The Chinese dollar is really starting to take over there, and some countries are accepting Chinese dollars for oil, which is not in the U.S.'s best interest. So if crypto becomes legitimate,
Something like that.
we're gonna have to start using crypto as a world reserve currency, which is what it's designed for. It's totally designed to do that.
Right.
But there's some serious problems inherent with that come along with it. So.
Right. Well, this is the thing. Like, this is the thing too. Is like, so is something where like, businesses, like, capitalism is going to kind of have to push this forward, because we see there's crypto ATMs. There's PayPal is taking at least 4 types of crypto now. So there's an inevitability to this. That how long is it going to take for? Is there any world governments that utilize crypto? Is there any like governments that utilize it?
I believe Venezuela has been using Bitcoin Cash specifically, and there's some countries in Africa that have really taken a hold of Bitcoin Cash. I believe Africa sees the highest number of transactions of Bitcoin Cash in the world. So Venezuela's been using it to get around some of the U.S. sanctions, as well as a few other countries. I think Iran, anyone that's sort of under the thumb or the dictatorship of the U.S. financial system, if you will, has been using crypto to get around the world financial system. Because really, what crypto does is make banks obsolete,
right?
Which obviously creates some geopolitical problems.
And so what? Yeah. So that and then also there's like certain countries, lists of countries that plan on having their own cryptocurrencies. And how is that going to be? Because there's a few countries already that have their own national, and I mean, we might talk about this when we go down the list. There are countries that actually have their own cryptocurrency as a national currency.
Yeah. And the United States is looking at a digital dollar as well.
Right.
The fundamentals on how it works. The thing with Bitcoin, Litecoin, and all these original sort of cryptocurrencies is that it's peer-to-peer and decentralized.
Right.
So these national cryptocurrencies are most likely not going to be decentralized. They're going to work very similar to how the current dollars work, with unlimited supply, and
they're not going. And the other point about it, though, is that then it's, as you say, it's going to be and because of the free market system, who's going to there? It's just basically going to be replacing the dollar, the physical dollar. We basically have a kind of it's all electronic now anyway. I mean, with a debit card and everything.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that makes the current financial system so inefficient, which is why Elon Musk claims about Bitcoin being not being green, are sort of laughable, because by the time we've talked about this before, by the time you cut down the tree, turn it into paper, make the ink, print the money, pallets and pallets and pallets of money, and ship it to banks, and then ship it, and put it in your pocket, and back and forth, and ATM machines and credit card processing, and all those things that go into the current financial system. Not to mention what it takes to mint coins. It's far, far more energy intensive than crypto is. Bitcoin really uses about as much energy as the current credit card transaction system does.
Right. That's true, because you're utilizing. Yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah. Right. All right. So let's jump in. Let's talk about Litecoin. So Litecoin was created. So, JP and I did our homework over this. So this is kind of an overview of Litecoin. So Litecoin was created in 2011. Bitcoin was created in 2009. And Litecoin was basically the creator of Litecoin, Charlie Lee, basically he kind of wanted, the term Litecoin is a direct reference of Bitcoin. He wanted to create a Bitcoin Lite, something that he always would say is like there is.
If you've ever downloaded and tried to run a node with Bitcoin, you'll realize it's something like 100 gigabytes.
Wow.
Because you need the entire blockchain. You need to download the entire blockchain.
Wow.
And have it on your computer in order to validate transactions. And there's been workarounds that have come along, segregated witness or SegWit, Lightning Network, and those sort of things that are workarounds to having to have the entire blockchain and running the entire blockchain on your computer. But back in 2009, 2010, it was maybe 20 or 30 gigabytes, which in those days was a pretty significant file. And so that was sort of where Litecoin was born from, was, that 20 gigabyte blockchain that was Bitcoin was 2 gigabytes with Litecoin. And the transactions were faster, things just moved quicker, and were just easier to deal with. So that was sort of the elementary version of how Litecoin came to be.
So with that said, it was created for that. It was, as he said, is like Charlie Lee wanted to make very much not as a competitor to Bitcoin, but a what's the word? Like a partner, like to Bitcoin. And like he said, it should be, if Bitcoin is gold, Litecoin is silver. Like it's a good companion. Okay, it's more accessible. It's more like consumer friendly, I guess, is the original creation for it.
The fees are a lot less, so to process a transaction, it's much less expensive. There's all sorts of benefits to it. One of the downsides is that it's not as cryptologically secure. I don't know if secure is the right term. Not as cryptologically complex. Right. So it's a little bit easier to hack. Not that it's hackable. It still uses some pretty decent encryption. But, if a quantum computer somehow gains the ability to hack into encryption, Litecoin is probably going to be one of the first ones to get hacked versus Bitcoin, which goes a little deeper on the encryption.
Right. And so here's the other thing too, is like Litecoin has consistently been, it's listed as PayPal right now takes 4 cryptocurrencies. One of them is Litecoin. So it's a workhorse. I would say it's not a meme.
It's a sleeper. It's a sleeper crypto. I can't put it in the same class as Bitcoin Cash, and one of the things with Litecoin is, if you're looking for a coin to speculate on, is it has not seen the explosive growth that some of these other coins have had over the last couple of years. Yeah. It is pretty much where it was in 2017. It saw a little bit of a bump over this last bull run that cryptocurrencies had, but nothing like the gains of some of the other coins. Very similar to Bitcoin Cash. Right. And when Bitcoin Cash split off from Bitcoin, it sort of took the wind out of Litecoin sales, because it made Litecoin almost irrelevant. Litecoin was set up to be a little quicker, little faster transactions, a lot cheaper. And when Bitcoin raised its block sizes and became Bitcoin Cash, it all of a sudden could do everything Litecoin could do, and it was more secure.
Right. And the thing about like Litecoin, Litecoin is the second oldest cryptocurrency. It's been around for 10 years. It's the first one, as you say, is part of that script hashtag algorithm. It's new to, like I say, it's more accessible. It's more, as I say, it's a workhorse crypto. It's not going anywhere. There's literally thousands of cryptocurrencies. Some of them last a month, they disappear. This is the second oldest cryptocurrency. It's been established. it's not it's all cryptocurrencies are volatile. So it's still it's volatile as that, but it's not going anywhere. Like so.
And you know, if you're looking for coins to invest in, one of the first things I look at is whether or not it's open source.
Yeah.
You know, there are thousands of cryptocurrencies, and most of them are looking to turn a buck. I'm not going to say they're scams, but they're definitely there's definitely corporate interest behind the creation of a lot of these things, whether they're designed to be used for gift cards or this or that, or however the algorithm is programmed. But Litecoin is decentralized and open source, same as Bitcoin Cash. A lot of the top cryptocurrencies you'll see are not owned by anyone, which is one of the prerequisites for I think having a crypto soar, so to speak, or actually gain in value.
Yeah.
Unless you're Dogecoin, in which case it just doesn't make any sense. Next week.
Yeah. So as we were saying, Litecoin it's here. It's as I say, as I say, it doesn't have the press of Bitcoin, but it has the longevity of like I say,
this is going to touch into a little bit of Bitcoin history, Bitcoin controversy. You know, recently Coinbase went public. Coinbase was one of the first US-based crypto exchanges. Back when Bitcoin split and became Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin, there was some controversy with Coinbase, and there might have been some insider manipulation going on with the Bitcoin Cash market. And Bitcoin Cash went from something like $40 to $4,000 within the span of 6 hours. It was incredible. I was really rich for a few minutes there. Didn't have time to really do anything about it before the price crashed back down. And just before that, Charlie Lee, the creator of Bitcoin, had joined Coinbase's team.
Coinbase. He's one of the creators. Yeah, one of the engineers.
So before he did that, he made an announcement that he sold all of his Litecoin. And he was one of the largest holders of Litecoin at the time. Of course, being the creator, he's bound to have a bunch of it. So he claimed to have sold it all. And then there was some interesting whale movement during that 2017 run up, and a lot of people speculated that Charlie Lee was involved in sort of the manipulation there that was going on, and made a lot of money. And that, I think, tarnished Litecoin for a little while, whether it was true or not. It just, the optics were really bad.
Right.
And I think it sort of gave Litecoin, gave some crypto enthusiasts a distaste for Litecoin based on all that.
Okay. Right. So do you have any Litecoin?
I don't have any Litecoin. No, I'm a pretty loyal Bitcoin Cash. Yeah. And of course I've got some original Bitcoin that I mined back in 2010, 2011. So Bitcoin Cash is the coin that I really think is going to at least supplant the credit card market in terms of merchant transactions, debit cards, and that sort of thing. Yeah. So that's where I've been doing my investing. In terms of gains, I think Bitcoin Cash is really going to be where it's going to be.
Right. So would is that something? Because I just, at least until I get my Coinbase app up, I got some on my Robinhood, just investing thing, and it's like I say, I think it's at 100 and something. What is it? 130 now. And as I said, people are talking about that it should be, as you say, it hasn't plateaued yet. It's
right. I'm guessing it's a $1,500 coin at this point, just based on what Bitcoin is doing.
Right.
If we're pegging other coins to the value of Bitcoin, which is essentially what has started happening. All coins rise and fall with the price of Bitcoin. I would say that the fair value for Litecoin is around $1,500.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the highest I think the highest it went at one point was, it was up pretty high at one point. was it? So yeah, it went down to, it's at 143 right now. At one point it was at, and it lost $85. So was that almost 300 or so?
Yeah, I was going to say 300 was probably 350.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I would say that's a good one to look at. It's definitely a good one to look at. It's not a fly by night one, as you say. It's an open source crypto. It's the second oldest cryptocurrency. So if it was going to go away, it would have gone away a long time ago. So yeah.
So in 2017, it looks like it got up to about $350.
Yeah.
We just broke that high a few weeks ago, May 10th at 369.
Yeah. And now it's at 143. Man, these cryptocurrencies are super volatile. My goodness.
But on September 21st, 2020, Litecoin was $44.
Wow.
And same thing back in 17. February 3rd, it was $3.77, and December 20th, it was $3.50. So
it's all over the place.
It's very volatile. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So we're going to jump into, and we had some of our viewers were asking about why we weren't doing next week's picks. So we're going to do some next week's picks for everybody. So here we go. So as you see, that was our old logo because we weren't planning on doing that. So here we go. So this is what we're looking at for next week. So JP, GSM, Ferroglobe, you're still looking at that, huh?
I am, yeah. Ferroglobe has been doing really well. I think it's got a lot of upside, and that's the stock that I'm running with right now.
Okay. So I am looking at AT&T for next week. So AT&T just made they're basically combining this from their media. They're combining their Discovery Plus, their Discovery Incorporated with their Warner Media thing. So they're combining that because, as you know, there's Discovery Plus. They also have HBO Max. So they've got a lot. So they're combining that stuff. So I think we're going to see a little jump. Not a huge jump because this was about that news happened last week. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see AT&T go up. And it's that the stock itself is $30 a share right now. So
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the market cap?
The market cap on it, I'm not sure, but it's not volatile. Like over the past year, it's gone up less than 1%. So it's a pretty I don't know, it's one of those, I wouldn't say it's a blue chip stock. I mean, it's AT&T. But it's not a volatile stock by any stretch of the imagination. So I'd be curious just to see as we get more, they look more on their media side and less on their infrastructure.
And that's a dividend stock as well. It's about a 7% yield. So that's pretty decent for the price.
Yeah. Yeah. For $30. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I'm looking at for next week, and we'll see how that goes. So, but other than that, so thank you very much, everybody, for joining us on this week's episode of Nerd Stock Talk. So remember, if you have any questions, any comments, or hygiene tips, go ahead and send them our way.
Write them on the back of a bottle of the finest Merlot.
We're the click and clack of stocks. All right, cool. Well, thank you.
Advisor is all
right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. And this has been another episode of Nerd Stock Talk.